First, learn how to hold the yarn and the hook, which is the basic posture for crochet. Pinch the yarn tail with your right hand, from front to back. Thread it through between the ring finger and pinky of your left hand. Enlarge the loop. Then wrap the yarn tail around the pinky once. Thread it through between the middle finger and index finger. Pinch the yarn tail with your thumb and middle finger. And pick up with your index finger. Tighten the yarn. As you crochet, unfold your pinky, allowing the yarn to be easily pulled through. When pausing, curl your pinky to hold the yarn in place. This method helps adjust the yarn tension, making crocheting smoother. At first, you might struggle with the rhythm, but with practice, you'll gradually get used to it. Then, hold the crochet hook in your right hand like a pencil. Pinch the handle of the hook with your right thumb and middle finger. Rest the handle on the webbing between your thumb and index finger. Point the hook downward, with the hook's curve facing toward you. Lightly rest your middle finger on the hook tip. As you crochet, your middle finger can press down on the loops and yarn on the hook. This is the proper posture for crocheting. Next, let's learn the chain stitch. The chain stitch is the most basic stitch technique in crocheting. It's also the primary method for casting on in crocheting. Besides being called chain stitch, it can also be referred to as chain stitch or braid stitch. Hold the yarn with left hand. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Place it underneath the yarn. Point the hook downward. Wrap counterclockwise once. Use your left thumb and middle finger to pinch the crossing point of the loop. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Draw the yarn through. This starting knot doesn't count as one stitch. Gently pull both the yarn on left index finger and yarn tail. Slightly tighten. Now begin crocheting chain stitches. Yarn over. Pull through. One chain stitch is completed. The loop on the hook. The chain below counts as one stitch. Continue crocheting chain stitches. Yarn over and draw through. This is the second stitch. Repeat this process. Continue crocheting chain stitches all the way down to the required number of stitches. Every few stitches, move your left hand toward the hook. This is the crocheting method for chain stitches. When you're just starting out with the crochet hook, it might feel a bit awkward. We can simply make a slip knot and place it on the hook. Hold the yarn tail, cross the yarn to form a loop. Pull part of the yarn tail through the loop. At the same time, pull both the pulled loop and the yarn tail. Tighten the first loop. The remaining loop stays on the hook. Pull the yarn from the tail end. Adjust the size of this loop. Then hold the yarn with your left hand and begin crocheting chain stitches. Next, let's introduce foundation chain. Casting on is the foundation for crocheting various stitch patterns. Chain cast on is one of the commonly used casting on methods. Chain stitches have a right side and a wrong side. The right side shows V-shaped loops. The wrong side has horizontal bars in the center, called the back ridge of chain stitches. The strands on both sides of the back ridge are called single loop. Depending on the picking up position of the first row, when doing foundation chain, there are 3 casting on methods. Each has its own characteristics. These 3 methods are: picking up the back ridge of chain stitches to crochet, picking up the half loops of chain stitches to crochet, picking up both the half loops and back ridge of chain stitches to crochet, picking up the back ridge of chain stitches to crochet. After picking up stitches and crocheting, the cast-on edge will leave a braid-like texture of chain stitches. It looks more neat when not crocheting the edge. It's recommended to use this picking up method when crocheting by picking up the back ridge. Generally, the crochet hook size for casting on should be 1 or 2 sizes larger than the hook used for the main work. Picking up the half loops of chain stitches to crochet, picking up the half loops above the front side of chain stitches to crochet. Which is this single strand? The position is quite visible, but it can create a gap at the insertion point. When picking up stitches on both sides of the cast-on edge, you can use this picking up method. Generally, when making the foundation chain, you can use the same size crochet hook as for the main work, picking up both the top loop and back ridge of the chain stitches to crochet. This method is both easy to pick up and very secure. When you need to skip several stitches before crocheting, you can use this picking up method. When making the foundation chain, you can use the same size hook as for the main work. The same size crochet hook, or slightly larger hook, can also be used. Let me explain again. Chain stitch is the foundation of all crochet techniques. Practicing continuous chain stitches helps both hands work together more smoothly and better control hand tension, making the fabric texture neater and more beautiful. After getting started with crochet, practice continuous chain stitches. It can improve crochet speed. After completing the foundation chain, officially begin crocheting. Single crochet is one of the commonly used stitch techniques. The height of a single crochet matches the height of one chain stitch. Fabric made with single crochets is relatively dense, with higher stiffness. When used over large areas, it's generally more used for crocheting toys or bags. Different casting on methods can form fabric pieces of various shapes. This way it can meet various needs. Next, demonstrate back and forth single crochet starting with a foundation chain. First, make a foundation chain, then crochet one chain as the turning chain for single crochet. Finally, pick up with the hook the back ridge of the last stitch in the cast on. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise from below the thread. Use the back of the hook to lift the loop. After rotating the hook to catch the yarn, pull through the first loop. Now there are 2 loops on the hook. Continue to yarn over with the hook. Pull through both loops one by one. This is what a completed single crochet looks like. The V-shaped loop at the top right of the single crochet is the stitch. Next, pick the back ridge of the adjacent chain stitch, then make another single crochet. Continue using the same method to pick the back ridge on the left side and work single crochets. Complete the first row. The stitch count here matches the number of chains. Now work the second row. First, make 1 chain as the turning chain for the second row single crochets. Keep the hook steady. Turn the work counterclockwise. Now the wrong side of the first row is facing you. The hook and yarn tail are on the right side of the fabric. Here's an important note. It's generally better to make the turning chain before turning the work. This creates more even chain texture. When turning the work, you must rotate around the loop on the hook. Rotate in a counterclockwise direction. The right side of the fabric turns away from you. Pay attention to the direction. If the direction is wrong, it will cause the beginning chains on the side seam to twist. Affecting the appearance. Insert the hook into the last single crochet stitch of the previous row. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over. Pull through both loops. This completes the first single crochet of the second row. Continue to pick up the left single crochet stitches. Work single crochets into each stitch in sequence. For the last stitch of this row, also pick up the left stitch to crochet. The stitches may have slight puckering. Pay attention not to pick up the beginning chain. The second row of single crochets is completed. The number of stitches should match the previous row. Continue to crochet the third row, chain 1 first, as the turning chain for the third row of single crochets. Turn the work piece. Continue crocheting the third row. The last single crochet of the third row, pick up the edge single crochet stitches from the previous row to crochet. The third row is completed. Continue working the required number of rows back and forth. Next, I'll show you how to count rows when working back and forth. Odd-numbered rows show the texture of the right side of single crochets, which appear as individual V-shapes. Each V-shape represents one stitch. Even-numbered rows show the texture of the wrong side, which looks like a horizontal line across the top. Simply count rows by alternating right and wrong sides. You can see 6 rows have been completed here. This is the method for counting rows when working back and forth. Next, I'll demonstrate how to fasten off the yarn. After completing the required number of rows, work one chain stitch, which mainly serves to secure the work. Cut the yarn, leaving about 5 cm tail. If the yarn tail is for later sewing, depending on the sewing requirements, you can leave a slightly longer yarn tail. Pull the yarn tail through the loop. Tighten the yarn tail, which is equivalent to making a knot. This makes it more secure. Next, I'll explain the single crochet in the round using foundation chain. When crocheting hats and other tubular items, this crochet method is generally used. Join the foundation chain by connecting the ends. Work single crochets evenly into each chain stitch of the foundation chain. Each round is crocheted counterclockwise on the right side of the fabric. No need to turn the work. The new stitch technique used is slip stitch. First, work a certain number of chain stitches. Form the chain stitches into a circle. Note that the wrong side of the chain should face you. Don't twist it. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the first chain stitch. Hook the yarn. Pull through all loops on the hook. Slip stitch completed. The chain forms a ring. The slip stitch doesn't count as one stitch. Tighten gently. Tighten both the hook and the yarn held in the left hand simultaneously. Foundation chain completed. Move on to the first round. Work one chain as the beginning chain for the single crochet. Pick up the back ridge of the first chain stitch. Work a single crochet in the insertion point of the previous slip stitch. Beginners can place a stitch marker on the first stitch to mark the position. Continue picking up the back ridge of the left side chain for single crochets. The last back ridge is slightly puckered. Pay attention not to pick the wrong position. Check the number of single crochets after completion. It should match the foundation chain count. You can count the V stitches on the front. Or, just count the loops at the top right. Pick up the first single crochet stitch, which is the 2 strands marked by the stitch marker. Slip stitch. Remove the stitch marker. Pull tight the slip stitch. The first round is complete. Move on to round 2. Chain 1. Work a single crochet in the first stitch position of the previous round. Place a stitch marker on the stitch. Place a stitch marker on the first stitch of each round. Convenient to find the slip stitch insertion point when this round ends. Work single crochets into each stitch of the previous round. After completing the last stitch, pick up 2 strands at the marker position, and slip stitch while pulling tight. This way, round 2 is completed. Next, let's learn how to count rounds. The right side of the fabric will have raised textures as your guide. Avoid the starting position. Start counting from this foundation round. Count how many of these textured rounds there are. That indicates how many rounds have been completed. You can see there are 5 textured rounds now, meaning 5 rounds have been worked. The beginning chain at the start of each round, and the slip stitch at the end position will appear more prominent. They'll angle to the right. This is normal. After completing the required number of rounds, next, I'll show you how to fasten off the yarn. The regular method is to make a chain stitch first to secure. Then cut the yarn. And pull out the yarn tail. Finally, pull tight. This method is simple and quick. But the connection point is too noticeable, not delicate enough. For special areas where appearance matters, such as bag openings, you can use this invisible fasten-off method. After completing the last round of single crochets, leave the slip stitch unworked. Reserve about 10 cm of yarn tail. Leave a long tail if sewing is needed. Pull the yarn through. Thread through a yarn needle. Insert into the second single crochet stitch from the wrong side. Then pick up the back loop of the last stitch. Exit. Slightly tidy up the loops to match the stitch size. This method is called the invisible fasten-off technique. Next, demonstrate the method of weaving in ends. regardless of which fasten-off method is used. Thread the yarn tail onto a yarn needle. Weave into the wrong side texture of the single crochet. After weaving in several stitches, cut off the excess tail. Thread the starting tail onto a yarn needle. Weave in several stitches on the wrong side of the single crochet. Then pull tight to create a natural transition at the starting point. Finally, cut off the excess tail. This is the method of weaving in ends. Next, demonstrate circular single crochet with foundation chain. Crochet a certain number of chain stitches, here using 6 stitches as an example. Form the chain into a circle. Note that the right side of the chain is facing you. Insert the hook into the back ridge, and single loop of the first chain stitch. Yarn over and pull through to make a slip stitch. Gently tighten. Chain cycle completed. Now work round 1. Chain 1 as the turning chain for single crochet. Insert the hook into the foundation ring, while placing the starting yarn tail over the hook. Work 1 single crochet. Completed. Place a stitch marker on the first stitch to mark the position. Continue working single crochets into the ring using the same method. A total of 10 stitches are needed here. Remember to place the starting yarn tail over the hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. Check the stitch count after completion. Then pick up the first single crochet stitch, which is the 2 strands marked by the stitch marker. Work a slip stitch and pull it tight. Remove the stitch marker. The first round is complete. The starting yarn tail has been woven in for 1 round, so it can be cut off directly. Next, let's demonstrate the yarn over cast on for circular single crochet. Yarn over cast on has two methods, double magic ring and adjustable magic ring. First, demonstrate the double magic ring. This cast on method is most commonly used. With this method, the center loop stays tight, and the fabric piece won't come apart easily. Pick up the yarn with your right hand. Wrap the yarn around your left index finger twice. Now there are 3 strands of yarn on your index finger. Pinch the overlapping part of the loops with your right thumb and index finger. Remove your left index finger. Hold the yarn with left hand. Transfer the loop to between your left middle finger and thumb. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Insert the hook into the loop. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Draw the yarn through. Now there is 1 loop on the hook. Continue with 1 chain stitch to secure. Gently tighten. The magic ring is completed. Move on to the first round. Chain 1 as beginning chain. Insert the hook into the magic ring loop, and make a single crochet. If you can identify the first stitch, you can skip adding a stitch marker. Continue working single crochets around the ring. Complete 6 single crochets for the first round. Stretch the loop and remove the hook. There are 2 loops in the beginning chain. Gently pull the starting tail. You'll notice 1 loop is movable. Pull the moving loop, tightening the other loop. Leaving 1 loop remaining. Pull the tail tight. This secures the loop. Slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch. The slip stitch doesn't count as 1 stitch. Make sure to tighten it to avoid extra stitches later. This completes the first round. Note that if there are too many stitches in the first round, the loop gets wrapped up after completing. Gently squeeze the completed stitches outward to expose more of the loop. Now crochet the second round. Work 1 beginning chain. Single crochet into the first stitch of the previous round. Place the starting tail above the crochet hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. Make another single crochet in the same stitch. Working 2 single crochets into the same stitch is a single crochet increase. Work a single crochet increase on the left stitch, which means working 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Don't forget to weave in the ends. Continue on the stitches from the previous round. Correspondingly make single crochet increases. Check the stitch count after completing. 6 single crochet increases total 12 stitches. Then pick up the first single crochet stitch of the increase. Join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The second round is complete. The starting tail has been woven in for one round. You can cut it directly. Move on to the third round. Work 1 chain as beginning chain. At the position of the first single crochet stitch of the previous round single crochet increase, work 1 single crochet. Then work a single crochet increase at the position of the second single crochet stitch. Next, alternate crocheting 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet increase. This round ends with a total of 18 stitches. Check the stitch count. Then slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch of this round. Pull tight. The third round is complete. Next, demonstrate the adjustable magic ring. This method is convenient for tightening the ring, but the center tends to loosen, suitable for yarns with strong fluffiness and high friction, or when working all single crochets in the second round. Use it when you can weave in the tail. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Position the hook underneath the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise around the hook once with the tip pointing downward. A loop forms on the hook. Pinch the crossing point of the loop with your left thumb and middle finger. Make the loop large. Put the hook on the left side of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Draw the yarn through. This step is similar to the method used when making a chain stitch cast on, except the loop should be larger, not to pull tight. Work 1 beginning chain. Continue pinching the loop, keep the size consistent. Insert the hook into the loop. Pick up 2 strands on the left side to make a single crochet. Continue picking up 2 strands of the loop. Work the single crochets needed for the first round. Complete the round by closing the ring. Pull the yarn tail, tighten the center of the fabric. Then slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Next, demonstrate the oval-shaped single crochet with chain cast on. Work counterclockwise outward in rounds. You can work from the center outward. You can also work around both sides of the foundation chain to form an oval shape. First chain the required number of stitches. Then work 1 round of single crochets around the foundation chain. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Insert the hook into the top loop of the second chain on the left side, and make a single crochet. Then work single crochets correspondingly into the top loops of the remaining chains on the left side. 5 chains were made for the foundation. Correspondingly make 5 single crochets. Then rotate the piece. And pick up the 2 remaining strands of this chain. Work 2 single crochets. Then pick up the 2 remaining strands on this side of the chain. Work a single crochet. Weave in the starting tail as you go along. At the position of the first single crochet, pick up the remaining 2 strands and work 2 single crochets. Check the stitch count after completing. It should be twice the number of chains plus 2 stitches. Then work a slip stitch in the first stitch and pull tight. And trim off the excess starting yarn tail. The first round is complete. The piece is oval shaped. Move on to round 2. Increase at both ends. Work even on both sides. Work 1 chain as beginning chain. Make a single crochet increase at the insertion point of the slip stitch. Then according to the pattern chart, work single crochets at the side positions. Make single crochet increases at the end positions. Join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Complete round 2. Now let's look at round 3. Work single crochets at the side positions. At the end positions, alternate crocheting single crochets and single crochet increases. Now demonstrate circular spiral crocheting. The casting on method is the same as regular circular crocheting. You can begin with a magic ring, or begin with a slip knot. Choose a suitable method to cast on. Work 6 single crochets in round 1. Place a stitch marker on the first stitch as a mark. Close the ring after completing. This way, round 1 is completed. Move on to round 2. Pick up the stitch loop with the hook where the stitch marker is. Make a single crochet increase. Single crochet increase completed. Place the stitch marker on the first stitch. Then pick the left stitch, and work single crochet increases one by one. Continue until the stitch before the marker. Round 2 is completed. Check the number of stitches. Round 2 has 6 single crochet increases, 12 stitches in total. Move on to round 3. Refer to the chart from the marker position. Crochet round 3. Mark the first stitch of each round with a stitch marker. Continue until one stitch before the marker. Round 3 is completed. After completing the last round, work a slip stitch transition at the marker position. Do not pull tight on this slip stitch. Chain 1 to secure. Cut the yarn. Finish. Fasten off with a slip stitch. This is simple, but the yarn tail position is visible. Here you can also use a yarn needle to finish. Smooth transition. No marks left. After completing the last stitch, leave a 10 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Thread the yarn needle. Insert into the second stitch on the left side. Pick up the outer strand of the last stitch. Come out. Gently tighten the yarn tail, matching the stitch size. Then weave in the ends on the wrong side of the fabric. This way, the invisible finish is done. Next I'll show you how to count rounds when crocheting in spirals. The right side of the piece will have raised textures as your guide. Avoid the starting position. Start counting from the beginning round. Count how many of these textures there are. That indicates how many rounds have been completed. You can see there are 5 textures now, meaning 5 rounds have been crocheted. Next I'll demonstrate how to mark the first stitch when crocheting in spirals. Using yarn to mark the first stitch. Sometimes the yarn is too thin. Using stitch markers may leave holes, or when you don't have stitch markers available, you can directly use yarn to mark it. Cut a piece of yarn in a different color from the working yarn as a marker. Before crocheting the first stitch of round 2, place the yarn tail above the fabric and the working yarn. Then start crocheting round 2. The position marked by the yarn tail is the first stitch of round 2. Crochet up to the stitch before the yarn tail. Round 2 is complete. Before crocheting the first stitch of round 3, first, place the long yarn tail from back to front on the fabric. Continue crocheting the next round. Crochet up to the stitch before the yarn tail. Round 3 is complete. After completing each round, you need to move the yarn marker forward and backward. Simply pull out the yarn tail after finishing all rounds. Next, let's explain single crochet increases and decreases. In variations of single crochet stitch patterns, single crochet increase 3 in 1, and single crochet decrease, and single crochet 3 stitches together. These 4 stitch techniques are the most commonly used. First, demonstrate 3 in 1. Work 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Three stitches are worked into one stitch position from the previous row, which is equivalent to increasing 2 stitches. This is the technique for 3 in 1. After completing, continue crocheting according to the pattern chart. Next, demonstrate the single crochet decrease technique. Insert the hook into the stitch of the previous row. Yarn over and pull through. This is an incomplete single crochet. Then insert into the left stitch. Yarn over and pull through. Complete 2 incomplete single crochets. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Single crochet decrease completed. Next, demonstrate the SC3 tog technique. Insert the hook into the left 3 stitches. Make 1 incomplete single crochet in each. There are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through all 4 loops on the hook. SC3 tog completed. Next, explain the pattern chart format. Crochet a ball. When crocheting in rounds with single crochets, if single crochet decreases are involved, the finished product is not a flat piece, but a 3D shape. A flat chart can't clearly demonstrate it. In this case, we usually record the pattern in table format. Toy patterns are typically in table format. Check the chart before crocheting. X represents single crochet. V represents single crochet increase. A represents single crochet decrease. Our plus number indicates the round number. The increases and decreases explanation column shows the stitch techniques needed, and increase, decrease details. When crocheting the current round, the total stitches column indicates the total stitch count after completing all stitches in that round. Cast on as magic ring means using the adjustable magic ring method for casting on. Choose the method that fits you best. Here we demonstrate with the double magic ring. Our 1 is 6x, where the number before x indicates how many single crochets to work. Make one beginning chain to start. Work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. The beginning chain isn't shown in the chart, but when crocheting in rounds, you always work a beginning chain at the start of each round. Complete by tightening the ring. Insert hook into the first stitch loop, and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The slip stitch isn't marked in the chart either. When crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch, and pull tight. The first round is complete. Our 2 is 6V, where the number before V indicates how many consecutive single crochet increases to work. Here it means to work 6 consecutive single crochet increases. Make one beginning chain to start into each stitch of the previous round. Work 6 single crochet increases correspondingly. Place the starting tail above the hook when crocheting. Weave in the ends as you go along. Once completed, check the number of stitches. The total stitches for each round are clearly marked in the corresponding chart. Join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. Trim off the excess yarn tail directly. The second round is complete. Now work the third round. Our 3 is XV times 6. The parentheses here indicate one group, multiply by number, indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. Make one beginning chain to start. First work a single crochet. Then work a single crochet increase. XV is completed. Repeat 5 more times. Finally join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. The third round is complete. In the chart, our 4 are 6. Work even 18 SC means, starting from the fourth round, work one single crochet corresponding to each stitch. Each round has 18 stitches. Continue crocheting until the sixth round is complete. Each round must include the beginning chain at the start, and the joining slip stitch at the end. Working even will cause the fabric to naturally curl. Adjust the fabric so the right side faces out. Continue with the seventh round. One single crochet and one single crochet decrease. Repeat 6 times. Join with a slip stitch when done. Pull tight. The 7th round is completed. Stuff the fabric with filling. Fluff up the stuffing before stuffing it in. You can use a crochet hook to assist. Once the stuffing is firmly stuffed, pinch and adjust the shape of the fabric with your hands. Then work 6 single crochet decreases in a row. Join with a slip stitch when done. Pull tight. Next, work 1 chain to secure. Leave a tail about 10 cm long. Pull the yarn through and tighten. Thread the yarn tail onto a darning needle. Pick up the front side loops of the last round stitches one by one. Pull tight. Insert the needle into the center of the opening. Pull out at any position. Gently pull the yarn. And press the opening flat. Weave the excess tail through the fabric several more times. Then trim the excess. Next, demonstrate half double crochet back and forth starting with a chain stitch. First, chain 7. Work 2 chains as the turning chain for the half double crochet. These 2 chains count as 1 half double crochet, corresponding to the last chain stitch of the foundation chain. Work half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the 4th chain from the left. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through all 3 loops. 1 half double crochet is complete. corresponding to the V-shaped loop above on the right. This is the stitch of the half double crochet. Continue with half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the adjacent chain stitch. Yarn over and draw through. Then yarn over. Pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Another half double crochet is done. Continue crocheting the remaining half double crochets. Like this, row 1 is complete. Crocheted 1 turning chain and 6 half double crochets. Because the turning chain for the half double crochet counts as 1 stitch, this is equivalent to 7 half double crochets, corresponding to the 7 chain stitches of the foundation chain. Now crochet row 2. First work 2 chains as the turning chain for row 2 half double crochet, corresponding to the last half double crochet stitch. Turn the work counterclockwise. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the second stitch on the left, which is the second to last half double crochet stitch of the previous row. Work a half double crochet. Because this is on the wrong side of the previous row, the stitch corresponds to the V-shaped loop above the half double crochet on the left. Pick up the stitches on the left one by one. Work half double crochets. The last stitch is worked into the turning chain position of the previous row. Yarn over. Pick up the single loop and back ridge of the second chain in the beginning chain, which means working a half double crochet with these 2 strands. Row 2 is complete. Similarly, 1 turning chain and 6 half double crochets were worked, totaling 7 stitches. Continue working row 3 in the same way. The last stitch also picks up the previous row's second chain of the turning chain with both strands. Row 3 is complete. Note: for stitch patterns other than single crochet, the turning chain counts as 1 stitch. When there's no increasing or decreasing, the last stitch of the previous row corresponding to the beginning chain of each row should not be worked. The ending position needs to be on the turning chain of the previous row. Pick up both strands to work the corresponding stitch. You can check the stitch count after completing each row. Now let's learn how to count rows for half double crochets. Odd numbered rows are the right side of half double crochets, with clearer texture. Even numbered rows are the wrong side of half double crochets, with fuzzier texture. 2 strands of yarn lie diagonally above. Simply alternate counting front and back sides. You can see 6 rows have been completed now. This is how to count rows. When crocheting half double crochets back and forth. Now demonstrating circular half double crochet. First make a double magic ring. Then chain 2 for the turning chain. Yarn over the hook. Insert into the magic ring loop. Work 1 half double crochet. Since the turning chain counts as 1 stitch, this makes 2 stitches total. Continue inserting into the loop and crocheting. This round has 10 stitches total. Check the stitch count when done. Then tighten the magic ring. Pick up the turning chain with hook, the single loop and back ridge of the second chain. Yarn over to finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Now crochet the second round. Starting from round 2, we need to increase 10 stitches per round. Crochet 2 chains as the turning chain. Yarn over and insert the hook into the same position as the previous round slip stitch. Work 1 half double crochet. The turning chain and 1 half double crochet in the same position. Form a special half double crochet increase. At the half double crochet stitch on the left side of the previous round's turning chain, work 1 half double crochet increase, which means working 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. Due to the pull from the previous round slip stitch, this stitch may pucker slightly. Pay attention not to miss any stitches. Continue working 1 half double crochet increase in each remaining half double crochet stitch of the previous round. Work 1 half double crochet increase. When completed, join with a slip stitch to the second chain of the beginning chain. Pull tight. The second round is complete. Now work the third round. First crochet 2 chains as the turning chain. Then on the left stitch, work 1 half double crochet increase. Then in the first stitch of the previous round's half double crochet increase. Work 1 half double crochet. Work 1 half double crochet increase in the second stitch. Next, alternate working 1 half double crochet and 1 half double crochet increase. When completed, pick up the 2 strands of the beginning chain, and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The third round is complete. Next, I'll teach you how to count rounds. In circular crochet, each round shows the right side texture of half double crochets. The beginning chain and slip stitch positions are more noticeable. And angled to the right. Avoid the starting position. Start counting from this round's foundation chain. Count how many texture rounds there are. That indicates how many rounds have been completed. You can see there are currently 4 texture rounds. This means 4 rounds have been crocheted. After completing the final round, fasten off the yarn. Chain 1 to secure. Cut the yarn. Pull out the yarn tail. Pull tight. Next, I'll demonstrate the invisible fastening off technique. After finishing the last round's half double crochet, do not join with a slip stitch. Leave a 10 cm yarn tail. If sewing is required, leave a long yarn tail. Pull out the yarn. Thread the yarn needle. Insert from the wrong side into the stitch of the first half double crochet. That is, the stitch on the left side of the beginning chain. Then pick up the outer strand of the last stitch. And the strand on the back. Draw through. Slightly tidy up the loops, to match the size of the stitches. Then weave in the ends, regardless of the method used to break the yarn. Thread the yarn tail onto a darning needle. Hide it along the texture on the wrong side. After weaving in several stitches, cut off the excess tail. Thread the beginning tail of the yarn onto a darning needle. Pick up strands on the wrong side of the first round, and weave in several stitches. Finally, cut off the excess tail. Next, let's look at increasing and decreasing with half double crochets. The most common stitch techniques for half double crochets include increasing with half double crochets and decreasing with half double crochets. Half double crochet 1 stitch into 3 and half double crochet 3 stitches together. First, let's demonstrate the half double crochet 1 stitch into 3. That is, in the same position. Work 3 half double crochets. Here, pick up the back ridge of the chain stitch and crochet. 3 half double crochets have been worked into the same stitch. This effectively increases 2 stitches. After completing, continue crocheting according to the pattern chart. The second half double crochet, 1 stitch into 3 is complete. This is the crochet method for half double crochet 1 stitch into 3. Next, let's demonstrate the half double crochet decrease technique. Yarn over the hook, insert into the corresponding stitch position. Yarn over and pull through. Slightly raise the loop. This is an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over the hook. Insert on the left side. Yarn over and pull out. Complete 2 incomplete half double crochets. When crocheting, use your right middle finger to hold the yarn loops. Raise each loop slightly. Now there are 5 loops on the hook. Yarn over the hook, pull through all 5 loops one by one. Half double crochet decrease is done. Continue crocheting 2 chain stitches according to the pattern chart. Skip 1 foundation chain stitch. Using the same method as before, crochet another half double crochet decrease. The second half double crochet decrease is completed. Then crochet 2 chain stitches. Next crochet the third half double crochet decrease. This is the method for half double crochet decrease. Now demonstrate the technique for half double crochet 3 stitches together. Yarn over the hook. Insert into the corresponding position. Work 1 incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over the hook. Insert into the left side 2 stitches. Work 1 incomplete half double crochet for each. There are now 7 loops on the hook. Yarn over the hook. Pull through all 7 loops. Half double crochet 3 stitches together is completed. Continue crocheting 3 chain stitches according to the pattern chart. Skip 1 starting chain stitch. Using the same method as before, crochet another half double crochet 3 stitches together. The second half double crochet 3 stitches together is completed. This is the method for half double crochet 3 stitches together. Now demonstrating back and forth double crochet starting with a chain stitch. Then work 3 chain stitches as the turning chains for the double crochet. The turning chains correspond to the last chain stitch of the starting chain. Yarn over the hook. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the 5th chain stitch on the left side. Yarn over, Pull the yarn through. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over the hook. Pull through the first 2 loops. 2 loops remain on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through the remaining 2 loops. 1 double crochet is now complete. Corresponding to the V-shaped loop above and to the right. This is the stitch of the double crochet. Continue yarn over. Pick up the back ridge of the adjacent chain stitch. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over, draw through the first 2 loops. Yarn over again, pull through the remaining 2 loops. The second double crochet is now complete. Complete the remaining double crochets. Row 1 is complete. Crocheted 1 beginning chain and 6 double crochets. Because the turning chain for the double crochet counts as 1 stitch, this is equivalent to 7 double crochets, corresponding to the 7 chain stitches of the foundation chain. Now work on row 2. Chain 3 as the turning chain for row 2 double crochets, corresponding to the last double crochet of the previous row. Then turn the work counterclockwise. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the second double crochet stitch on the left side, and make a double crochet. Because this is the wrong side of the previous row, the stitch corresponds to the braid above the double crochet on the left. Work double crochets into each stitch on the left side. The last stitch is worked into the turning chain position of the previous row. Pick up the half stitch and back ridge of the third chain. Row 2 is complete. Similarly, 1 turning chain and 6 double crochets have been worked. Total of 7 stitches. Continue working row 3 in the same way. The last stitch also picks up the turning chain of the previous row. Work the third stitch into both strands. Row 3 is complete. Here's how to count rows. Odd-numbered rows are the right side of double crochets, with clearer texture. Even-numbered rows are the wrong side of double crochets, with fuzzier texture. There's a strand slanting across the top. Simply count rows by alternating right and wrong sides. This is how to count rows when working double crochets back and forth. Now demonstrating circular double crochet. First, cast on an adjustable magic ring. Chain 3 as the turning chain. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the magic ring. Work 11 double crochets. Check the stitch count after completing. Since the turning chain counts as one stitch, this makes a total of 12 stitches. Close the ring. Pick up the turning chain with the hook, the single loop and back ridge of the third chain stitch. Join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Crochet the second round. Chain 3 as the turning chain. Yarn over and insert into the previous round, the same stitch as the slip stitch. Work 1 double crochet. The turning chain and 1 double crochet in the same stitch form a special DC 2-in-1. In the double crochet stitches of the previous round, work 1 double crochet increase in each stitch. That is, work 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Plus the special increase at the turning chain position. A total of 12 DC 2-in-1 are completed. Pick up the top of the beginning chain's third chain stitch, and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The second round is complete. Move on to the third round. Chain 3 as the turning chain. Work 1 double crochet increase on the left stitch. Work 1 double crochet in the first stitch of the double crochet increase from the previous round. Work 1 double crochet increase in the second stitch. Continue crocheting all the way around this round. Once completed, pick up the top of the beginning chain, and join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The third round is complete. Next, let's learn the method for counting rounds. This technique is similar to counting rounds when working in half double crochets in the round. Start counting from the foundation round. Count how many texture lines there are. That number indicates how many rounds have been completed. You can see there are 3 texture lines now, which means 3 rounds have been crocheted. For cutting and weaving in the yarn when working double crochets, you can refer to the method used for half double crochets. Next, we'll cover increasing and decreasing in double crochets, including the most common variations. Double crochet increase, 3 double crochets into the same stitch, double crochet decrease, and double crochet 3 stitches together. First, demonstrate 3 double crochets into the same stitch, which means working 3 double crochets in the same position. 3 double crochets into the same stitch is complete. Continue crocheting according to the pattern chart. The second 3 double crochets into the same stitch is complete. This is the crocheting method for 3 double crochets into the same stitch. Next, demonstrate the double crochet decrease technique. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the corresponding position. Yarn over and pull through. Slightly pull up the loop. Yarn over. Pull through the first 2 loops. This is an incomplete double crochet. There are 2 loops on your hook now. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the left side position. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over again. Pull through the first 2 loops. This is the second incomplete double crochet. Yarn over. Pull through all 3 loops. The double crochet decrease is complete. Continue with 2 chain stitches according to the pattern chart. Skip 1 foundation chain stitch. Work another double crochet decrease. The second double crochet decrease is complete. This is the method for double crochet decrease. Next, demonstrate double crochet, 3 stitches together. Yarn over. Insert into the corresponding position. Work an incomplete double crochet. Yarn over. Insert into the 2 positions on the left side. Work 1 incomplete double crochet in each. There are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Pull through all loops. Double crochet 3 stitches together is complete. Continue with the pattern chart, chain 3. Skip 1 chain stitch. Work another double crochet 3 stitches together. The second double crochet 3 stitches together is complete. This is the method for double crochet 3 stitches together. No matter how many stitches you increase, the basic method remains the same. A double crochet increase means working 2 double crochets into the same stitch. DC 3 in 1 means working 3 double crochets into the same stitch, and so on. This is double crochet 1 stitch into 4. The fan stitch of double crochets looks very much like pine needles, so it's also called pine stitch. First, make a single crochet. Yarn over the hook. Skip 2 chain stitches. Pick up the back ridge of the third stitch on the left side. Work 5 double crochets into the same stitch, which means working 5 double crochets into the same position. After completing, skip 2 chain stitches, pick up the back ridge of the third stitch on the left side, and make 1 single crochet. Skip 2 stitches. Then work 1 double crochet into 5. The second double crochet 1 stitch into 5 is completed. Yarn over the hook. Insert the hook into the chain space of the previous row. Work 5 double crochets. When crocheting, remember to pick up the entire section here. Pay attention here. The increase method shown in the pattern chart. Some bases are connected together. Some are separate. When the stitch symbols bases are connected together, it means working into 1 stitch. When the bases are separate, it means working into the chain space. It's also called clustered crocheting. No matter how many stitches are decreased, the basic method is almost identical. Double crochet decrease means working into 2 stitches of the previous row. Correspondingly, make 2 incomplete double crochets. Then yarn over the hook and pull through all loops. For DC4 tog, correspondingly make 3 incomplete double crochets. Then yarn over and pull through all loops, and so on. Now demonstrate DC4 tog. Make 4 incomplete double crochets in sequence. Then yarn over the hook. Pull through all 5 loops. The DC4 tog is completed. The braid on the upper right is its stitch. Next, make DC5 tog. Make 5 incomplete double crochets in sequence. Then yarn over, pull through all 6 loops. The DC5 tog is completed. The braid on the upper right is its stitch. Now explain derivative stitch techniques for double crochet. Treble crochet is a commonly used derivative stitch of double crochet. The beginning chain for treble crochet is 4 chains, and the turning chain counts as 1 treble crochet. Make 4 chain stitches as the beginning chain, corresponding to the last chain of the foundation chain. Yarn over the hook twice. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the 6th chain from the left. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. There are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. There are 3 loops remaining. Yarn over the hook, pull through the first 2 loops. 2 loops remain. This is an incomplete treble crochet. Yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. 1 treble crochet is complete. Corresponding to the V-shaped loop above on the right, it's the stitch of the treble crochet. Continue crocheting treble crochets. Yarn over the hook twice. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the adjacent chain stitch. The second treble crochet is complete. Continue to crochet the remaining stitches. Because the beginning chain for treble crochet counts as 1 stitch, this is equivalent to crocheting 7 treble crochets, corresponding to the 7 foundation chains. If you need to crochet the second row, chain 4 to start this round. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Since the turning chain counts as 1 stitch, start crocheting from the second stitch. The last stitch. Similarly, pick up both strands of the turning chain. This is the treble crochet technique. Next, demonstrate the double treble crochet method with chain cast on. Chain 5 to start. Yarn over the hook 3 times. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the 7th chain from the left. Yarn over the hook. Draw the yarn through. There are 5 loops on the hook. Yarn over on after another. Pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat 4 times. One double treble crochet is completed. Corresponding to the V-shaped loop above on the right side, this is the stitch. 3 diagonal lines can also be seen on the right side, corresponding to the 3 diagonal lines on the stitch pattern symbol. Yarn over 3 times. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the adjacent chain stitch. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over on after another. Draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat 4 times. The second double treble crochet is completed. Since the turning chain counts as 1 stitch, this is equivalent to working 4 double treble crochets, corresponding to the 4 chains of the foundation chain. This is the crocheting method for the double treble crochet. Next, demonstrate the triple treble crochet technique. The beginning chain for the triple treble crochet is 6 chains. Start with a chain stitch first, then work 6 chains as the turning chain. Next, yarn over 4 times. Insert the hook into the back ridge of the 8th chain on the left side. Yarn over the hook. Pull the yarn through. Yarn over on after another. Pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat 5 times. One triple treble crochet is now complete, corresponding to the V-shaped loop above on the right side. That's its stitch. 4 diagonal lines can also be seen on the right side, corresponding to the 4 diagonal lines on the stitch symbol. Continue to yarn over 4 times. Pick up the back ridge of the adjacent chain stitch. Yarn over, pull the yarn through. Then yarn over one after another, pull through the first 2 loops. The second triple treble crochet is now complete. Because the turning chain counts as 1 stitch, this is equivalent to crocheting 4 triple treble crochets here, corresponding to the 4 chain stitches of the starting chain. This is the method for triple treble crochets.